Welcome into WagerTalk TV. I'm Drew Martin, joined by Tony Mejia and Steve Merrill of WagerTalk.com. Guys, we're talking Midwest region in the NCAA Tournament round one. We got Oklahoma State versus Liberty here, Tony. 142 being the total. Looks like Oklahoma State just 7.5, 8-point favorites here. We're seeing money come in on the Flames, the A-Sun team, taking a little money over the Big 12 team. You surprised by this, Tony?
A little bit, because everybody understands that Cade Cunningham is going to be the top two pick in this NBA draft, depending on who gets it, on whether they need a big or not, and it's going to be him or Evan Mobley. And he is exactly what he was labeled to be, a wonderful player. I heard him called the Luka Doncic of college basketball today, a little bit of hyperbole, but like at the same time, he's a kid that really makes his teammates a lot better. And Likely's back. Which is great for Oklahoma State because he's another willing passer who can create, who can rebound, and who can defend. And I really came to appreciate what the Cowboys became over the course of the season, because early on they were a little tenuous there. It seemed like Cunningham was trying to pick his spots as to where to really impose his will and where to let other guys do it. And they had some issues early in the season, and down the stretch they've been lights out. So certainly Mike Boynton deserves credit for steering the ship, and Cade Cunningham is exactly who we expected him to be, which in this day and age speaks a lot about him. You know, we know what Liberty's going to be. Liberty is a Richie McKay coached team. He's been at multiple spots, likes to control tempo, likes to slow things down. The Flames have been the best team in the Atlantic Sun, which for a while had Bellarmine, the new Ace Division I edition, be one of the top teams in the league. So it's not very strong. Stetson was one of the top teams in the league. I would say this is a bottom 5 conference. So from that standpoint, the 8-point favorite angle is a bit of a slap in the face to a team as talented as Oklahoma State. But there's no way that Liberty is going to get sped up in this contest. So I think you'll see the under be the play. But, you know, this could be one of those situations, and we rarely see it. In fact, I was talking to this the other day. Parking a favorite of 8 to 10 points and an under is like parking a car, like doing parallel parking, because you got to get both into a very small window. But it can be done. And I think this is one of those situations where it might be done, where this ends up being a 63-51 game, and Oklahoma State handles business.
All right, but maybe the under in foul fest range Tony was talking about. Got to watch out with that. Steve, you know, our friend Joe Ranieri was talking about right before we started filming here, Oklahoma State, you know, one of the hotter teams down the stretch in the Big 12 and the conference differential in terms of power ratings. A lot here pointing towards the Cowboys, yet the Liberty Flames taking some money. What are you thinking here, Oklahoma State Liberty?
Yeah, as Tony was somewhat hinting to, the side and total are definitely somewhat correlated here. Liberty needs a slow-down half-court game, so I don't think it's a coincidence that we've seen the line go from Sunday at 9 down to 7.5 by Monday already. But we've also, Drew, seen the total drop from 145 down to 142 within the first day or so. So it's been Liberty and under money because they are somewhat correlated. Whereas if you like Oklahoma State or the over, a little bit of a correlated parlay there makes sense as well. This game's tricky for me. Oklahoma State is a team that's very tough to get in front of right now because they're 8-1 straight up in ATS their last 9 until that loss against Texas in the Big 12 title game on Saturday night. And even then, they only lost by 5 as a 3-point dog. Not surprisingly, they're playing better down the stretch. They have what I consider the best prospect, NBA prospect in the country, in Cade Cunningham. The freshman took a little – it really didn't take any time for him to get going. He was good from the start. But, you know, when you're that young of a team or that much of a young superstar, you do expect to be better in February, March. So Oklahoma State right now, a very dangerous team. But this is a dangerous matchup for them. And Liberty does have some upset potential here. I make the line around 7. So the drop from 9 down to 7, or 7.5 rather, I agree with. I do think that opening number was too high on Sunday night. As Tony pointed out, Liberty plays extremely slow, one of the slowest half-court teams in the country. But even when you take out that weaker schedule, and by the way, Liberty on February 5th, an impressive 41-point win against Lancaster Bible, for those of you keeping power ratings at home. But other than that, they did play a really weak schedule, as Tony mentioned, in the Atlantic Sun. But still, even when you account for the weaker schedule, their adjusted offensive efficiency is 52nd in the nation. Oklahoma State is 54th. shocking. And this is a good half-court slow down team in Liberty that's actually technically the more efficient offense. So this game does have some upset potential written on it, especially if Oklahoma State comes a little flat after that Big 12 run. Teams off a loss that are playing a team that won, got the automatic bid, they've been a long-term winner for decades now. It's been a very good technical system, and that does favor Oklahoma State. But I think you got to take that with a grain of salt because a lot of times those teams get bumped early in the tournament. That wasn't the case with Oklahoma State. They made the run. They lost as a dog. There could be a little bit of a hangover here. And if there is, this is a dangerous spot for the Cowboys. Liberty is a dangerous half-court slowdown underdog, which always do well in these tournaments.
Yeah, good one here in the 4-13 matchup in the Midwest region. Tony Mejia, Steve Merrill. Find them both at WagerTalk.com. A lot of free content available for March Madness. Also, we got a coupon code, guys. MM50 at checkout takes $50 off. Any March Madness package gets you all the way through the national championship. Check it out, WagerTalk.com.